Good morning. Oh, no. Sorry, just trying to figure this out here. Okay, there we are. Good morning. If anyone's here, just hop on and say hi so I can see. Okay, good morning everyone. Hi Sarah Ann. Welcome to Crafty Hour 61. Good morning Sheila. Good morning Gail. Okay, I see a few of you hopping on. That's great. We will just wait a few minutes to get a few more people on. So today we are doing Crafty Hour with this Pink and Main birthday card kit. I'm super excited. Gonna try to squeeze in 4 cards. We'll see what we get done. If not, of course, we'll post some pictures. I do have one just inspiration card that I kind of did on my own that I will post pictures of later. Be sure to hop on at 5 o'clock tonight with Courtney while she shares her cards. Morning, Deborah. So yeah, we'll get started in just 1 minute. We've got a super busy day today. I don't know if you all were watching yesterday, but we are doing a bonus together at 2 this afternoon. So be sure to tune in for that. We've got a ton of new stuff coming in. The store will remain open normal hours, so we'll be open until 5. Morning, Sharon. Okay, so morning, Jennifer. Thank you. So with your kit comes this kind of inspiration sheet. So this was my side. So I'm gonna do a variation on these 4 cards here. Of course, these kits are great because they're fast and easy, so you can just glue all the pieces together like they show here, but I decided I was gonna do some interactive cards. So that might be a bit ambitious to do 4 interactive cards in an hour, but we'll see how far we get. Morning, Carrie. Okay, so for the first card, I'm gonna start with this one, with the giraffe. So I don't know if you guys saw the homework. This time it was just pulling out all the pieces. So this is what you need for the first one, 1 card base. I switched things up a little bit, so I'm gonna use this polka dot, the sentiment strip, the giraffe, and then I'm gonna add in these 2 extras from the kit. So we're gonna start off with the card base. I've already done it on here, but just to show you, I just scored at 2 1/8 so that we can make a Z fold. Okay, so then I'm gonna grab my trimmer here and I'm gonna take this polka dot piece and I'm going to cut it because I want to use part of it on another card. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut it at 1/2 inch and then 1.5 inches. And I measured mine because I don't like cutting off tiny little strips. I find that it's really hard if you're trying to measure this way. So I'm just gonna do it like this. So I'm gonna take 1/2 inch off of one side and then I'm gonna cut it at 1.5 inches. So we've got 3 pieces like that, and this one we're gonna save for something else, so I'm gonna put that over there. So then next I'm going to, take this sentiment strip part and I'm gonna put glue not quite all the way to the edge on the one side, because I'm gonna let it hang over a little bit. And then I'm gonna glue this with the edge of the pink line on the fold there and kind of center it top to bottom like that. Oops. It could slit a little bit, so push it down like that. And then I'm gonna take this, sorry Linda, I will try to slow down a bit. I'm gonna put glue on this one, which is the polka dot, the 1/2 inch polka dot piece. And I'm just gonna glue it right up against here, like that. And then I'm gonna take the bigger piece and put glue on that. Of course, you can use tape runner or double-sided tape or whatever you like. I prefer to use liquid glue because you have a little bit more time to move it around. And then this one, I'm just gonna take it and glue it right there. Maybe adjust it a little bit. Linda, the cuts were 1/2 inch and then 1.5 inches. Sorry, I can write that. So sorry, I want the finished strips to be, this one is 1/2 inch and then this is 1.5 inches. Okay, so there we got that. And then this was one I just added in, so you can use a little bit of foam tape if you want, but I'm just gonna glue this one flat on there. Like that. Anywhere you like is fine. And then I'm going to use, a bit of foam tape here, and I'm just gonna put foam on the front half of the giraffe and not on the balloons. Put some foam tape here. And on the leg. Too big. A bit on the face there. And then take that off. And then I'm just gonna position this guy maybe right about there. So the balloons are coming off. Kelly, this papers and all the die cuts and everything are from this Crafty Hour kit. We do have a few more. If you're interested, you can give the store a call. Karen is out there. And then this one, I'm just gonna put on the inside. Maybe like right here. Just like that. And then if you want, they did give us a whole bunch of gems in the pack. So we can just add a couple here, maybe. And there, that's the first one done. So really nice and simple. Of course, like I said, you can always glue it just flat. I don't have anywhere to put them while they dry right now, so I won't, but you can always add stickles to add a little bit of extra if you like that. Okay, so there's the first one. So the second one, I asked you to pull these pieces and then the card base. So for this one, we're just gonna fold it in half regular. You can use a bone folder, just score it like that. And then second thing, totally optional, but if you want to jazz it up a bit, I'm gonna use some foil. So I'm gonna use holographic. So what I'm gonna do is I am going to cut off this little yellow border. So I'll just take my trimmer and just eyeball it. I'm gonna use this holographic, and I'm not really gonna measure. I'll just put it on here and decide that looks good. So maybe like that. So that's about 3 inches there. And then the other way, do about 4 1/4. And then up to you with my specialty paper. I really don't like to waste it. So generally I will cut something out of the center. So I just pick any rectangle die here, or else the next step we're gonna have to be cutting through 2 layers. So I'm just gonna take that off screen real quick. And run it through my die cutting machine. You can use whatever die you want. It doesn't matter if it's stitched because you're not gonna see it. So we'll put that on there. And then I asked you to grab a 3/4 inch circle die, but the exact size doesn't really matter. It doesn't have to be specific. And I'm just gonna tape it down so it doesn't move around. So we're just gonna put it somewhere near the top. It doesn't have to be specific here. And I'll run that through my die cutting machine. Sorry for the noise, the handle fell off the die cutting machine. Okay, so we'll get rid of that. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm going to glue this cloud piece on top here. And like I said, that's totally optional. You can leave the yellow if you like, or you can cut it off. You don't have to put the foil, but I think it looks pretty. Okay, let's put that right in the middle there. And then we're gonna take this circle that came in the kit, and I'm gonna get some foam dots or foam squares. It doesn't really matter, or you can just take foam tape and cut a square and then cut the corners off a bit. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put 2 on top of each other right in the middle. And then I'm gonna pop this in here. And then I'm going to put my mouse right about here. So you can see it can move around. And then I'm gonna take the sentiment And maybe pop it up a little bit. Oops. Just maybe here. Okay, then we're gonna turn this whole thing over, and you're gonna wanna put some foam tape or some foam strips around the edges, but you don't wanna get too close to this, or else it's not gonna move around freely. So I'll do a foam strip up here, and then I'll use my wider tape for the rest of it. Do this. And you can use as much or as little dimension here as you like. Doesn't have to be perfect. Let's try that. Take the tape off here. Or sorry, the liner paper. Like this. So I'm gonna do one more thing before I stick that on. Just be careful that the circle doesn't stick on the back of the foam tape. Sorry, I should have done this first. So I'm gonna take this little rainbow piece and I'm gonna cut it approximately in half. This is like 3 3/4. So somewhere like that. Doesn't really matter if it's perfect because you're not gonna see it. So we're gonna take this and we're gonna glue it maybe like here, 1/3 of the way up. So just flat. Again, you can use tape runner if you like. And just lining it up with the edges of the card. And just try to get it approximately even, like that. And then this one, you just be really careful that the circle on the back is not stuck to the foam tape. And then we're gonna try to line this up. And now the mouse can swing or move all around. And then of course, you can embellish this one too. So that's card number 2. All right, so moving on to card number 3. So this one is the shaker. So these are the pieces that you'll need. In the homework I had said to get a ruler and an X-Acto knife. Originally I was gonna try to cut out the rindo with a ruler, but I decided I didn't want to do that. So I have found a die that is the width of these yellow squares. So I'm gonna basically cut out these 3 yellow squares. So I believe this is 1 1/4 inches wide. Oh, sorry, 1 3/4. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use lots of tape because I don't want it to move while I'm running it through the die cutting machine. So we're just gonna tape it on one side, and I'm just gonna line it up with the yellow as best I can, being really careful because it's pretty close to the edge and I don't want it to rip, of course. So we're just gonna start off lining it up on one side. Maybe I'm gonna put one more piece of tape. Excuse me if my head gets in the way. Okay, so I'm gonna run this through my die cutting machine. I'm gonna take it off and get rid of that. And then I'm just gonna line it back up on the other side. So you should sort of feel the die fit into place, kind of where the other one cut. So it's kind of lined up that way, and then just lining up the other edge. This is just so you know, from the Hero Arts Infinity set, but if you have the tonic ones, I'm sure there's one that's a good size. And then I'm gonna run this one through. Like that. It slid a little bit, but that's okay. I will just trim it a little bit with my scissors, although I'm sure most people would not even notice. We'll try to cover that up. Okay, so I'm gonna get a piece of acetate, which I seem to not be able to find mine on my desk because it's clear. Oh, where'd it go? Okay, hold 1 second. I brought it back up. I'm just gonna grab it out. Okay, here we go. So this doesn't have to be exact, of course, because it's on the back. And we just cut it there and cut it here. So it's approximately 5 inches by 2 inches, but a little bit bigger is okay. And then I'm gonna use some 3mm double-sided tape. You can use liquid glue if you like, but I just find acetate sticks better with dry adhesive. And I'll just put this all the way around. Like that. Okay. And pull off the backing. And then, oops, I don't know what happened. It's not straight, so we'll just cut off the excess here. Okay, I was gonna try to get my scissors underneath a little bit, but they'll just go right up against the edge. All right. Okay, then more foam tape. Depending on what shaker mix you're gonna use, you can use thicker or thinner. I think this is the 2mm that I have here. And we will just stick this here. And then I will use some foam strips for this skinny part. So So just make sure your strips are touching right up against each other because we don't want anything to fall out. Oops. I love these strips for skinny little areas like this. Oops. Oh no, this one's a little bit short. So I'm gonna take this one off and put a longer one because all my shaker bits are gonna fall out. There we go. And maybe, just to be fast, I'm just gonna put another strip here. Okay, so I'm gonna use a powder tool to make sure nothing is sticking to the foam tape. And then I like to peel all this off before I add my shaker bits. Just be careful where you touch it after. There we go. And I'm gonna use these, but of course you can use whatever you like. I always like some glitter. Maybe I'll put some glitter in there too. So just some fine iridescent glitter. And the shaker bits. You can put as much or as little as you like. Let's try that. And then I am going to put a piece of paper just to seal everything in. Because I don't want them falling out. And this shaker is kind of, if it was a bigger area, I probably would have put it down on my card base first. But this is really hard to get it in the right place. So I'll just do that, and I will just cut this off like that. Oops. Don't stick it upside down because there's still exposed foam tape. Okay, so then I'll just put some glue on the back here. And then I'm gonna open my card this way. So we'll just put this in the center. Like, not quite in the center, but good enough. Sorry, there's just, there we go, it's stuck. Okay, so now, where did my sentiment strip go? Oh dear, did I lose it? I seem to have lost my sentiment strip for this card. There we go. Okay, I guess I'm gonna leave it because I don't know where it went, but for you guys crafting along at home, there is this banner here, and that I'm not sure where mine went. So I'm gonna leave it out, but you guys can add it. And glue this one, but I'll glue these. So you can glue them flat, or again, you can use your foam tape and just put a little on the back of these guys. Oh, there's my cake. Everything's sticking to my foam tape. And that one. And this one. Like that. And we will stick these maybe like this. And then we can put these right up here. And like that. Oh, I found it. There we go. And like that. And then this one I'm just gonna glue flat. To the card, maybe here. And then I'll put a little foam tape on the back of this one. Cut a few pieces here. And one more. Like that. Morning, Roberta. And oops, hold it off. And then we'll just add this one on here. So there's the third one. Like that. And then for the last one, we're gonna grab this. So card base. And then those are the pieces I asked you to grab. So just like the photo, but I just grabbed, there was a second turtle. And then this is where we're gonna bring back that leftover polka dot piece from the first card that we did. So we'll just start off by folding this one in half. Like that. And then up to you. If you like the color, you can always, I thought it would look cute to use a stitched rectangle, so you could cut it like that. You could always mat it or add some more foil. Oh, we have lots of time. Maybe I'll cut it. So this is just a stitched rectangle, and I'm just gonna put it in the middle here. And I'm gonna cut that out. Just line it up the best I can. I don't know where all my tape pieces are going. Okay. So just add that on there and run that through the die cutting machine. I didn't quite have it lined up perfectly So I'm just gonna grab out my trimmer and I'm just gonna trim that little bit of blue off. But of course, you could leave it. And there's an even tinier little bit here. Okay. There we go. And then maybe I'll grab some more foil, just because. And I'm just gonna cut a standard A2 panel, so 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and then we can just glue that on the card. Of course, you can cut out the center if you don't want to use up so much of your foil. Let me just stick this down so I don't wreck it. Hi, Joe. Yes, the turtles are super cute. Okay, so we've cut the middle out of that. We can save it for something else. So again, I'm just gonna glue this down flat. Of course, this is totally optional. Or if you wanna do a different color. I also brought some gold and some silver, but this was just the easiest to grab. Let's line that up there. Oops. Like that. Push that down. All right. So next I'm going to glue this pink rectangle. Sometimes I will just put a piece of like scrap cardstock in the hole so it's flat on the bottom, but we're gonna put so much stuff on top of this that I don't think anyone's gonna notice that the middle is empty. And then we'll just line that up there in the center. So then we're gonna take that polka dot piece from before. I think I'm gonna cut the blue off the edges here. So just grab my trimmer real quick. Like that. And maybe about 1/3 of the way up, something like that. We'll glue that there. Just like that. Oops. Got some glue there. And then I asked you to pull this circle. I think I'm gonna just use a stitched circle to cut this one too, but of course, like I said, you don't have to. Totally up to you. Didn't quite cut all the pink off, but that's okay. So now we're just gonna stack up all the presents. So this one I'm just gonna glue flat. Oops. And we'll put it maybe here. And then we'll put the presents down here. You can also use foam tape if you want for this layer. I'm just gonna do it flat. And then I thought it would be fun to use some little action wobblers so we get some movement on the turtles. So I don't know if you guys have these, but they're super fun, really fast, easy way to add dimension. And you literally just take off the backing and stick it wherever you want, and then peel off the other side. And he can go down right there, and look at how adorable that is. And so we're gonna do both of them, but you could only do one, or you could do the sentiment, but it's just a super fast, easy way to get some movement. And I don't know, who wouldn't love to get a card with turtles that are dancing, or whatever you want to call it. So we'll just put that there. And then maybe we'll use some foam tape to pop up the sentiment. And I don't know if you guys can see it on camera, but my tape kind of messed it up a little bit up there, so we will use the sentiment to hide that. So just use up all my little scraps from before, like this, and then you can put that maybe there. And then a few more presents. Oh, maybe that one's too much. Maybe I'll just go with this one. Maybe I'll put it on top so it wiggles with the turtle. Probably should have glued it on first. But anyways, there you go. So that's the fourth one done. So 4 quick and easy birthday cards. That was only 45 minutes, which is the fastest that I've ever made 4 cards in my entire life. But anyways, here we'll bring them back in. And then of course you can feel free to embellish with your stickles or more gems. There's tons of them provided in the kit, and they come with envelopes and everything, which is great. And then one more I'll just show you really quickly. This is some of the extra ones, so I just added in my own sentiment and some cloud dies, but of course you could just cut those by hand, and a little bit of foam tape, and there's another super quick and easy card. So that is it from me.
Are you done?
Be sure to join Courtney this afternoon at 5. If anyone is wanting more kits, give us a call. We have a whole bunch left over. And don't forget our bonus together at 2.
And I'm going to interject myself because I'm really good at that. For those that don't know, it's Miss Leslie's birthday today. So I hope you guys join me in wishing her a fabulous, like 19th birthday?
Yeah.
21 maybe? 21st birthday. And these cards were perfect for Leslie to share with you. So thank you for spending your birthday morning with all of us, creating adorable cards. And yeah, together at 2 today, don't forget. So thanks, guys.
Bye.